Hi, Winter Sports Club families. It's November 20th, and we're getting ready to kick off another great season here in Steamboat. Even though it's been one of the warmest and driest late summers and falls that many of us can remember, our operational support partners in the City of Steamboat Springs and Steamboat Ski and Resort Corporation have done an amazing job to get us started with local training so that we don't have to travel. It's an exciting time for all of us to get started, but we share your concern as the county today on November 20th moves from the orange level to the red level on the COVID risk scale. What does this mean for our operations at the Winter Sports Club? It doesn't change our programming, but it does mean that we have to commit and be extra vigilant about our commitments to containing the spread of the COVID virus in our community. I believe that our training has never been more important for the kids to get outside, to be with peers in a safe environment, and to learn and grow through skiing and snowboarding. But it's going to take everybody's commitment to do it safely. Those important commitments start at home before the kids arrive at training. They need to do a symptom check and get their temperatures taken. If there's a fever of 99.4 or higher, or if they're experiencing any symptoms that could be associated with COVID-19, they need to stay at home until they're better. And if they're experiencing symptoms, they should go get tested. If they've been put on quarantine, we've had so many kids put on quarantine, they cannot come to training until they're out of quarantine. Our staff is committed to help them if they do have to stay at home through that time. We know how frustrated that can be. And we gave many athletes that were on this recent round of quarantine some individualized training to keep them occupied. And we're happy to see many of them back. And we know that a new round of kids were just put on quarantine here today. We want to help the kids through that. Once they arrive at training, they must have a mask. A high collar that they can zip up, that doesn't count. They need to have a face covering in order to be safe out there. And they need to wear their mask all the time except for during their runs or when they're doing physical exertion where they've got 6 foot or more separation. That's the only time the mask can come off. It's also very important that they keep distancing from their peers, and our coaches will work with them on that. Under level red, we can continue with outdoor activities in our groups of 10 or smaller. So we'll be moving around our venues a little bit differently, trying to stay to our groups of 10. We will have many groups of 10 out there at a facility like Howelson Hill, but we're doing our best to keep that spacing, to keep the spacing in lift lines, to keep the spacing on the chairlifts and the gondola. Your program directors will be sharing with you some of those specific policies to stay safe on the lifts this year. In addition, you can really help us out by following our pickup and drop-off times to the T. It's going to be very important this year as we do some staggered pickup and drop-off times that kids arrive on time, not too early where they're waiting around, but not late where they miss their group, and then for pickup the same. It's the congregating before and after training where we may have a hard time keeping that physical distancing. So we need your help to be on time, and if you're running late, communicate with your coach so your coach can be proactive in helping us out there. The other thing this year that'll be more important than ever is for the kids to come to training well prepared with extra layers. We're going to try to minimize any time in the lodge this year. The Howelson Hill Lodge will be closed to our athletes and families. They cannot get dressed in the lodge. They should arrive booted up, ready to go straight to training at the start of training. During training, if it's extremely cold outside, if the kids need to go inside to warm up, we will do that in short intervals, but it's the congregating inside on cold days where the transmission risk is the highest. So we're going to do everything we can to avoid that. The better the kids are dressed in layers and prepared for the weather, the better we'll be able to manage that. We may modify our training schedules so that we have a shorter session on a particularly cold day, or maybe we'll change our training day altogether due to weather. We've had some great examples of really safe training since the coronavirus first came to our community in March. We've successfully conducted camps through the summer, both on snow and off. We did extensive summer training, and we've had no transmission that we're aware of through those sessions. We can keep that up if we stay outside. We believe this year is more important than ever for the kids to have a fulfilling, active, outdoor experience with their peers. And that's what we're looking to provide. With your help and reinforcement of those important commitments to containment, we all can work together to have a great season and bring our community back from red, hopefully to orange, and eventually back to green, where we can all be out there enjoying the great outdoors together and visiting with you all at the bottom of the mountain.